Hello and welcome to the picturesque town of Loket. It's the Czech Republic Grand Prix here, sponsored by Casino Bonva. My name's Paul Malin. You join us live on Sunday afternoon for the 12th round of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship. Temperatures climbing up. It's more than 20 degrees here today. Not the warmest day that we've had, but it's certainly getting close to it. Got a light breeze, but that's going to be short consolation for the riders who are about to go out there and do 45-minute moto in MX2. Well, this town of Loket, about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes west of the capital, Prague. That square there, the old square in Loket, famous for that scene in 2006 movie James Bond, Casino Royale. Been coming here since 1995. That was a 500cc Grand Prix. And it's been on the calendar pretty much ever since 2004, certainly in MX1, MX2. Championship at the moment. Jeffrey Herlings has a 49-point lead over Tommy Searle, with Jeremy Van Hoorbeek just 12 points further back, with Joel Roelants and Jordi Tixier rounding out the top 5. But it's Jeffrey Herlings who is well and truly in the driving seat, coming off a double moto victory in Russia 2 weeks ago. Quick look at the circuit, just under 1,600 meters long. A nice wide start straight, about 85 meters into that first turn. An uphill, off-cambered left-hander, probably one of the more difficult turns as a first turn on a racetrack that we see in the FIM Motocross World Championship. Normally always causes problems, but in MX2, in the qualifying yesterday, there were no such problems, only in MX1. We're getting ready to go down to the grid with Amy as she prepares to talk to some of our contenders for this afternoon's race. Here she is.
We're down on the start line here in Loket for the MX2 Race 1. Let's have a word with some of our riders. Let's first come to Samuel Zenny, who had a really good start to the qualifying race yesterday. You were riding in that top 3 and then just dropped back to finish outside of that top 10, but you were satisfied with the ride?
Sì, ieri è andata molto bene. Ho iniziato, era la prima volta che mi trovavo lì davanti a tutti e è stato molto bello. Poi sono calato un po' alla fine e spero di replicarmi oggi. Grazie a tutti quelli che mi supportano.
Thank you, Samuel. He just said to us that this is his first time riding in that top 3 and he's very satisfied with that ride. He's also riding with a private team this year, and he just wants to say thanks for all the support and hopefully he can go out there today and do the same again. Let's also move down and have a word with Elliot Banks-Brown. Elliot, we haven't seen you for some time. How is everything feeling? Are you feeling back to being 100% fit?
Yeah, I'm not 100% fit, but come here to the GP and just want to do my best. I had a pretty good start yesterday in a heat race and running in the top 7, and then I just got really bad arm pump. Just haven't been riding much due to the injury and stuff. So yeah, just want to get a good start here and be in the top 10 at the end of the day. That'll be good.
Thanks, Elliot. Before we see the MX2 Race 1, we're going to take a look behind the scenes of JTech Racing. Gabriele, JTech Racing are new to the World Championship paddock, but you have some great riders and a really great setup here.
Thank you so much. But this is a new team. It starts everything from January, from half of January. We are 3 owners, and everything starts from our passion for motocross. And also I was a rider when I was a child, and then also my family loved motocross. And about this, we start this work, and we would like to do everything more professional as possible. And we would like also to help some young rider to improve his career. MX2 is difficult for our rider Simone Zecchina because he was European Championship 125 last year, but he has a lot of injury from his winter until now, and so he can't have a good preparation, and so this year he needs only to learn and only to be lucky for the future. EMX2 is a very important championship for us because we have 3 riders, the 2 brothers Olsen and Alessandro Battig, and Stefan Olsen is a very good rider. We like him, and he has also good results. He's second, and his brother is very young because he's 15 years old, and I think he can have a good results in the future. And Alessandro Battig, with the fourth place, is improving his championship, and maybe next time it will be better for everybody.
You won the European 125 Championship last year. Has moving to MX2 been harder than you expected?
Sì, quest'anno.
Yeah, last year I won the European Championship. And this year I was expecting some better results, but I got some injuries at the beginning of the season, and that compromised my season. So now we'll just take everything as it comes, and already we're going to be looking for next year.
Ci prepariamo al meglio per l'anno prossimo.
Stefan, 2 weeks ago in Russia, you came painfully close to taking the race win. Second in the championship, are you happy with that result?
Yeah, I'm really happy with the results. I mean, got a really good start on the season. Really happy with the team. J-Tech is really working good, the bike and everything. And yeah, in Russia was really close the first seat to get the win. Just had a bit of a crash with the Pocock there last round, but I will really try to get that win and try what I can.
We've still got a few rounds to go. You still own that top spot?
Yeah, I will try to do what I can. I mean, Pocock, he's really going fast and really going to be hard, but I will try my best and do what I can.
Aldo, you've worked with some of the best riders in the world, Michele Rinaldi, Stefan Everts. What's it now like working with an up-and-coming team?
So now it's a lot different because I stopped 10 years ago, but I come back because I like so much this job, and now my target is help this young rider to make it in good shape for the championship.
Ciao a tutti, mi chiamo Battig
Everyone, I'm Alessandro Battig, I ride for J-Tech Yamaha.
Quest'anno sto
This year I'm riding in the European MX Championship 250. My goal is to finish in the top 5. Now I'm in 9th position. I scored a 4th in Russia and I hope to improve race by race.
My goal was just to ride a good race and some good races and qualify, but unfortunately I broke my leg in France, and yeah, I've just been sitting on the couch since and have been riding with Brian Jorgensen this week, and I feel okay on the bike.
The MX2 riders down on the grid as they prepare for their first race of the afternoon here at the Casino Bonvert Grand Prix of the Czech Republic here in Loket. My name's Paul Malin, alongside me Adam Wheeler from OnTrackOffroad.com. Adam Wheeler, we're looking at the lineup there. Jeffrey Hurling's convincing display in the qualifying race yesterday, winning by almost 20 seconds over Tommy Searle and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, despite that car crash 2 weeks ago from Russia.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he was talking a little bit about his injuries, concussion, a cut head, I think even a broken rib. He said he's taking painkillers to be out on the track, so I think yesterday caught a lot of people by surprise. Either he's downplaying the injuries, which I don't think is the case, or he's really just, you know, taking that medication and gritting his teeth.
Well, apparently he didn't get on a bike until Thursday for the first time, said it's quite difficult, and obviously that's the reason for the painkillers. But here we are, quickly, based on yesterday's performances. Who's your money on?
Oh, I mean, it's all down to this start straight, isn't it? And this first lap, first couple of corners. Whoever nails it is really going to be going for the podium. I think if you start outside the top 10, then you're in trouble.
5-second borders turn, the gate about to drop. Alessandro Lupino, Elliot Banks-Brown and Zach Osborne alongside us. But Osborne gets squeezed, but it's a KTM going into the first turn. It's Boutron on that digger racing. Tommy Searle's got caught up in there right at the back, and there's a few guys going down. Well, we said at the start of the broadcast, this first turn normally catches out 1 or 2 riders, but Tommy Searle, our onboard camera, well, he's got a lot of work to do on that Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, that was completely not the start he wanted. I mean, who's he? We got leading?
Yeah, Boutron and Nichols.
Yeah. So good starts from the KTMs. who's really there to challenge him. I think there's like 6-7 KTMs. There's Zach Osborne just at the back there, taking that slightly wider line.
Yeah, he got caught going through that, coming off the gate, but he was maybe able to hold that tight line going up that off-cambered left-hand turn. But it's Boutron from Van Hoorbeek as he goes by Jake Nichols and puts the squeeze on Nichols going down past pit lane there. So it's Boutron, Van Hoorbeek, Nichols with Hurlings there in 4th position, Koldenhoff in 5th. Elliot Banks-Brown making a good start, and so too one of the Honda Ester riders, Garibaldi team. Not sure if it's
Tonkov.
Yeah, Tonkov there, 66. It's not Max Anstey, but early stages yet. Tommy Searle came through, well, he's outside of the top 20 as he came over the line in 21st position. So a monumental effort required now for Tommy Searle as Jake Nichols goes up the inside of Van Hoorbeek on a freshly watered surface here. Oh, and that really messed up Jake Nichols. The rear end there of Van Hoorbeek just getting out of shape as they went up on the onto that step up, but looking all over the track trying to defend that line. In fact, that's Hurlings moving up into 3rd position as Nichols ran wide. So we've got Boutron, Van Hoorbeek, Hurlings, Nichols now your top 4. Koldenhoff there 25, 44 Elliot Banks-Brown just behind them in 5th, 6th position, and then Osborne just behind them. So good starts for the KTMs, which a lot of people already predicted yesterday.
Well, we've got 6 KTMs, I think, up there. You know, they're leading position. Zach Osborne just behind. I think there's a Husqvarna there as well. Or was that Tonkov on the Honda? And a Lupino, I think it is, just behind Osborne. So, I mean, you know, this is a little bit the state of the MX2 this year, isn't it, Paul? I mean, the KTM is pretty much the bike to have. Tommy's been, as we saw yesterday, he was just the only one. It was like the 3 factory KTMs and him.
And what are we talking about in terms of, you know, the machinery that we're using as well? Because obviously at the start of the season we saw Jeffrey Hurlings running a 2012 spec factory engine, didn't like it, apparently switched back to the 2011. Jake Nichols now running a 2013 factory engine. So we can only assume, therefore, that Hurlings, Van Hoorbeek, Tixier also running 2013s from now on in. Is that right?
Yeah, I heard a little bit more development with the Jake Nichols engine. I hear it's actually maybe just a kit that KTM are going to be supplying to the satellite teams next year, instead of having to have this diverse range of you know, year-old and then brand new machinery going through the KTM teams. There's more going to be like a racing kit provided to these guys. I think Jake's on one of the best packages there is, and that's natural because he's going to be one of the main guys for next season, you know, going for the title.
Yeah, because 3 of our top 4 riders, Tommy Searle, Van Hoorbeek and Joel Roulance, all having to move up to MX1 as Hurlings on the left side looking to challenge his teammate, number 89, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. We're on board with Van Hoorbeek as he makes a move.
He's going to do it.
On Boutron, and Boutron wasn't sure if he was quite going to put the squeeze. No. Van Hoorbeek moves through then and is our new race leader on lap 2. And Hurlings goes through as well, so it's a Red Bull KTM 1-2, Diga Racing KTM number 17. Boutron moves back to 3rd position, and just behind that, Jake Nichols on the Nastan Racing JM KTM.
I mean, for British fans as well, Tommy Searle just coming around the last lap there in 13th. I mean, this is, well, it's the worst possible scenario, really, other than crashing and hitting the floor.
Yeah, already 49 points down, and at this rate, he's going to be more than 2 motos down on Jeffrey Hurlings as we go into the 2nd moto, which is a nice advantage for Hurlings to have, but not so good for Tommy Searle. Just looking at the replay there, Tommy Searle looking like maybe just had 1 or 2 problems hooking gears there as he came out of the gate initially, but gets squeezed going up, gets nudged there by Osborne into Tixier, and then Dylan Ferrandis getting caught in there as well. Look, so right at the back, Tommy Searle, here we are on board with him. Osborne right down the inside, squeezes him into Hurlings and Tixier, and just couldn't turn right. There's Ferrandis getting caught, and it's uphill off cambered, so it's a difficult place to stop anyway. Tixier getting caught in that. So Tixier way down the order in 13th position, so at least Tommy Searle has already found a way past him, because in the qualifying race yesterday, Adam Wheeler on trackoffroad.com, Tixier proved a thorn in Tommy Searle's side, didn't he, in the qualifying race?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Geordie's been getting faster and faster as the year's been going, as the season's been developing, but you're just looking down there now, Tommy Searle in 10th place. He's got Elliot Banks-Brown just ahead of him, is that right?
Yeah, well, it's Lupino. Lupino just here.
It's one of the Bud Kawasaki's, might be Dia.
It's Tellier there, 37. Interesting scenario. Jeffrey Hurlings yesterday in the press conference saying he was in a lot of pain when he rode on Thursday for the first time in 2 weeks. It was a 25-minute moto yesterday, and he's on painkillers now. What's the pain going to be like, and what's his pain threshold going to be like? 2 45-minute motos, because knowing painkillers as we do, depending on what he's taking and whether it's injection or taken orally, there's the chance that the painkillers do start to wear off in the second half of the moto. So from Hurling's point of view, he's going to be looking to try and establish himself at the head in the first 25 minutes. Tommy Searle, meanwhile, now, you know, up into, 8th place, could, in the second half of the moto, find himself challenging for the lead and maybe even taking Jeffrey Hurlings along the way. That would be an interesting scenario, because certainly he's got to dig deep. But one thing they have got in their favour, the sun is in, the track's still damp. It's not going to be hard and slick and dry, is it? It's just going to be, there's going to be a period in the race where it's going to be perfect ground, but it's very brutal, very tough. And when you're hitting bumps like this and you're using that upper body, again, it was a smooth racetrack yesterday for Jeffrey Hurlings. Today, it's a lot rougher. There might be a little bit more physicality involved in holding on to the front of that KTM.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Paul. I mean, Tommy Searle is 10 seconds away. We could see a repeat of the Russian GP where he picks off the riders one by one and gets up to Jeffrey in second place. Van Horbik sprinting away. He's got more than 2 seconds advantage now, but the track is rougher. Looks a little bit harder to deal with than it did yesterday. At this GP, traditionally, we've always had a little bit of rain. It's been a half day of rain in practice, or it's been raining on the morning of the GP, of the race itself. And the track's kind of reacted to that. This has been the first GP in a while I can remember here, which has been completely dry, very hot and sunny. So, yeah, I mean, there is a big question mark over what Jeffrey Hurlings can do here today. He was also complaining yesterday a little about something in the shoulder blade. You know, he wasn't too happy with his back either. He's had a lot of laser treatment on his ribs. You know, I think we have to watch here and see what Tommy Searle can do. Can he pass T.A. Osborne, Koldenhoff, and these two riders in front of us and get up behind Hurlings and try and grab some points back?
Well, that's going to be the interesting scenario, because as it is at the moment, with Jeremy Van Horbik 2 seconds clear of Jeffrey Hurlings, Hurlings hasn't got to go for the win here. And, you know, he's good buddies with Van Horbik. It's a perfect opportunity to let his teammate go and establish that lead at the front of the field to take what would be his second race win, as Tony Cairoli looks on with Grubel. But in that respect, you know, Hurlings is in the perfect position. He knows that Tommy Searle's behind him, you know, another 5 or 6 positions, something like that. But he can react maybe towards the end of the race, or maybe he won't be able to. Zach Osborne looking to go up the inside of Glenn Koldenhoff. This is a fight for 6th position at the moment. Zach Osborne there, that blue Monster Energy Yamaha 337, or the black bike, but in the blue clothing.
Just coming across those braking bumps. I mean, this track is difficult for overtaking. You've got to get right up close to someone, and even take a risk to make a move through. I mean, we'll see little pockets of battles going on through this race, and if someone can make the break like Van Horbik's doing, it's now 2.2 seconds. It's slowly stretching out.
Tommy Searle all over the back of Osborne here.
Yeah, and I was just having a look earlier, Paul. We got, you know, Jake Nichols having a very strong ride on the back of Jose Butron in 3rd place. So Jake heading for a top 3 finish. He's always been there or thereabouts for the podium this year, hasn't he?
Just looking further down the leaderboard, teammate to Tommy Searle, number 34, Joel Roulant, buried down.
Oh, Searle's going to go on the outside on that corner.
Looks like it. Is this an endo moment?
No, passing T, I think, on the inside of the jump.
A lot of riders saying that the second double-double combination through there on the downhill has got quite a nasty lip on it. Joel Roulant's had a scary moment through there yesterday in the pre-practice session, but thought that's what the replay was going to be. But Tommy Searle there, look, jumping long over the second one. He's got the commanding line down the inside. All he had to do, land with the brakes on, keep it nice and tight, defend that inside, and that's it. The pass on Telly 8 complete. But all over the back of the 338, Zach Osborne now. Monster Energy Yamaha versus Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. And this is the battle for 6th position. And Tommy Searle doing what we've seen him have to do on so many occasions this year, fight from the back to get himself in a position where he can potentially score as many points as possible and maybe go for an overall victory, Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, it is frustrating. I mean, if he'd started up with Jeffrey Hurlings or even Van Horbik, then we would be seeing maybe this kind of close action right at the front, but instead we're just having to chart his progress through the field.
Oh, how close was that?
He's going to get the position, though.
Oh, ran it back down the inside of him. He's
still got it on the inside now.
Yeah, unless Osborne aggressively moves across, which he does, but that was a close. Might want to see that from the stand angle, you know, with the camera as they jump onto that, because that was very, very close. Zach Osborne, well, it's Tommy Searle around the outside. He's going to get it up the inside over the line to complete lap 5, and yeah,
that's a good line down the hill there, but it's a risky one because there's not much berm to hit. I mean, if you really carry too much speed, then you're in the fence.
I was watching the qualifying races through there yesterday. The actual rut that's there, and inside of that, there's a nasty hook on the face, and it actually turns a bit on the takeoff as well. So you hit it. Oh, Hurlings, that wouldn't have done the ribcage any good. That would have been a reaction, upper body strength needed there, and yeah, he'll just need a couple of corners to recompose himself and get up out of that seat. And Yeah, take a bit of a breath. Here we go. Oh no, that was.
This is on the. We tried to move up the inside. Ooh, just lost the front.
Tommy just losing the front as he went back up the inside of Osborne. Wonder if he knows it was Osborne that ran him wide going through the first turn at the start of the race, and just probably having another little dig there.
Well, I mean, you know, Tommy Searle's making positions. He's up to 5th place, but you know, he's just losing a little bit of ground to Hurlings. It was 10 seconds. Now it's 11.
That fastest lap of the race.
Yeah,
Hurlings.
Yeah, Hurlings. You know, even that moment out the saddle there.
Yeah, 148.9 compared to the 150.0, so not much in it, but Jeffrey Hurlings is the fastest man on track at the moment. Breathe, if you can.
He's getting updates on Tommy all the time, so that's maybe why he stepped it up, because you know, they're letting him know he's gaining positions, and he can't afford to hang around really behind Van Hoorbeek.
No, he can't, and he's going to put Budderly Love to a side. He's going to go after the win here, take it away from his teammate Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. But Jake Nichols having a great ride in 3rd position on the Nissan JM Racing KTM, 9.9 seconds down. He's found a way past Jose Boutron, been there a couple of laps. But Tommy Searle in 5th, Osborne 6th, Coldenhoff 7th, Tellier Lupino, and Max Anstey, the Honda Garibaldi Ester rider, down in 10th position. Seemed to be struggling a little bit, Anstey, yesterday in qualifying, and just during the day in general.
Yeah, I mean, he had such a good start to the season, didn't he? A lot of speed and confidence, but yeah, Max just struggling to find the rhythm in the second half of the season.
The battle for the lead intensifies, but not for long. Jeffrey Hurlings easily down the inside of his teammate, Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, and slots himself into the lead, so it's a Red Bull KTM 1-2, but a change of position here. Hurlings now goes to the front. Van Hoorbeek 2nd. Nichols just dropping back now. 12 seconds down, 12.5 seconds down on these two. Oh, Tommy Searle, has he found a way? Looks like he had a moment there coming out of that turn, but that's Jake Nichols just ahead of him.
Yep.
Found a way past Boutron, I think.
Is that not Boutron just ahead? I mean, Jake Nichols was 3 seconds ahead of Tommy Searle on that last lap. He's done it, yeah, you're right, Paul.
It just looked from the camera angle there, Tommy Searle, just have fun if you can. But yeah, Tommy Searle just looked from the angle there that he maybe just made a pass or was defending a line as a result of that. So again, maybe we'll see another angle of that pass on Boutron, but making good progress through the field. He was 21st on the first lap as he came over the finish line after getting messed up on that first turn, Tommy Searle. And there we see Jake Nichols just ahead of him. So this is going to be the battle for 3rd position any moment now. And well, it's damage limitation at the moment, but Tommy Searle last time almost 15 seconds down on Jeffrey Hurlings and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek.
Yeah, I mean, it's an obvious point, but Tommy's making lap times. He's the only one from the rest of the field that's comparable with Van Hoorbeek and Hurlings. Those guys in 49s, 50s, and Tommy also in the 50s. So it's only a matter of... Oh, is that Sakina at the back?
No, it's Kenny Van Duren, the 103, and Lieber, number 33. So those two either coming together or maybe just different incidents.
There's plenty of off-camber corners here, Paul. It's very tricky, isn't it? We saw a few riders coming close to, you know, eating the dust yesterday.
Yeah, and it's notorious for that hard and slick off-camber throttle control, pivotal, and, you know, in terms of how you get around this racetrack. But Joe Roulont's now in 20th place. So whatever his problem was on the first lap, didn't see him getting tangled up in the first turn as Tommy Searle gets ready to run down the inside and easily on Jake Nichols and shows him a rear wheel as well as he jumps from one side of the track to the other just to keep that defensive, and I'm guessing that's where he overtook Boutron a lap ago, but certainly on the charge. Tommy Searle there, number 100, the Reed Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki rider. Now into 3rd place, Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, that was a great line there. Just squared it off, Paul, and had the room and the pace just to make it stick. And I think after Russia and coming back past all those riders, here's a replay, you know, the TV department here, they figured, well, you know, who better to have the onboard camera.
And as he actually knocked this right and left, yeah, Kenny Van Duren just parking his bike at the bottom of the hill. Couldn't obviously get it started, looked like, as he picked it up as well. Somebody knocked it out of his hand, so not a good first race for Kenny Van Duren. But Tommy Searle, as he passed Jake Nichols a moment ago, the right-hander that leads into that double-double downhill to the bottom end of the circuit, he would have just seen a flash of orange, which would have been Van Hoorbeek disappearing out of sight. So interesting to keep an eye on this now. Hurlings last time around at 149.9 compared to Van Hoorbeek's 52.2. That opening up a 1.553 second advantage, to be precise. But that was Tommy Searle already 14 seconds down. So we'll keep an eye on those times, how they come down, now that Searle, of course, has clear track and is not having to think about lining himself up to make these passes. A two-wheel slide there for Hurlings coming out of that turn just after the finish line jump. but looking good, looking into control. But the unknown entity, Adam Wheeler, is how long those ribs will last if, of course, you know, he's suffering from that pain there.
Yeah, the fitness, Paul. I mean, that's the other thing. Over the years, I've heard riders talk about having pain-killing injections and taking medicine, pills, whatever, and it's, you know, made them a bit dizzy. It's made them a bit sort of suffer fatigue later into the moto. But, you know, I think when the adrenaline is going and he sees there's only going to be 8-9 minutes or whatever left on the clock, then, you know, he's just going to see out the race like Tony Cairoli did yesterday in the qualification. I mean, Hurlings was riding brilliantly yesterday. You know, you wouldn't have guessed there's anything wrong with him whatsoever.
A little bit further down the field here, Elliot Banks-Brown, number 44 on the HM Plant KTM UK machine. He's fighting off the challenge from Tixier, who's recovering from that melee at the first turn as well. And Roman Febvre, the Bodo Schmidt Motorsport KTM youngster, the European champion in the 250 EMX class last year, down in 13th place. We've got Samuel Zaney just behind them. And there's Max Anstey in that fluorescent helmet, number 6. He's now in 10th position. He's got Glenn Coldenhoff just ahead of him there, 25 on the Nastan JM Racing KTM. So Anstey trying to put in a bit of a spurt, and he'll be looking forward to going to Matterley Basin, won't he, in a couple of weeks' time. Literally right on the doorstep is the home Grand Prix for Anstey. Yeah,
it's going to be a big event for a lot of people, I think, Paul. It's, you know, I just hope the rain stays off, you know, with the Olympics going a bit bananas in the moment in the UK with the medals and stuff. The British are winning. It's the atmosphere should be great. I'm just having a little bit further down. Joel Rowland's down in 15th position, for either he doesn't like this track at all, or just it's kind of hard to believe that only 2 rounds ago he won the GP.
Yeah, and he was, but like you said, you know, a couple of laps ago he was 26, so he's actually making good progress. But he's got Zaney, Febvre, Tixier, Banks-Brown ahead of him, with 17, just under 18 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Still got a fair chunk of time in which to, you know, maybe get on the rear wheel here of Coldenhoff and Anstey, who are fighting over 9th position. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, actually, because nothing wrong with Joel Rouland's fitness levels and his aggression and his desire to get on the podium and score as many points as possible. But you just saw from that shot there how bumpy the track is, how gnarly it's getting, and that's just going into a flat corner.
And on that downhill as well, Paul, I mean, it was getting really rutted yesterday. I mean, it was getting actually really sketchy for some of the, you know, the landing of the riders coming down into that fast bit where we saw Tommy Searle take that wider line earlier. It's it'd be interesting to see how this track cuts up.
Anstey, it'd be interesting to see if he goes around the outside, squares off and does the Tommy Searle manoeuvre.
Yep. Oh, he didn't make it though.
He was a bit too close to Coldenhoff then to make that work, actually. But Coldenhoff coming out of that turn, defended his line pretty good and still making it hard for Anstey, who's going to have another go. Turns out early, but not on the gas early enough. Very tricky part of the circuit. Again, the ground falling away from, you know, as a negative camber even through that top part. But now he's got the drive down the inside, finds a way through. So Max Anstey moves up into 9th position on the Honda Garibaldi Ester machine.
He's such a nice rider to watch, Max, as well, you know. So sort of effective and efficient, you know, with his style. It's got a born from that, all that Supercross he loves and he does frequently.
Had a good start to the season as well in terms of, I mean, he looked good on the bike, didn't he? And then eventually got a podium in the first race in Portugal, in Agada. But since then, it's not really happened for him, has it?
I think it's a little bit of a combination of he's had some problems with the machinery. He's trying to develop that 250 with Honda as well. You know, and just a bit of lack of confidence.
Roman Febvre trying to go around 25. Glenn Coldenhoff. So the Bodo Schmidt Motorsport KTM rider there, 461. The French kid up the inside and gets on the gas. Loving these conditions here, hard and slick and loose. Whoa, wheel to wheel, pretty much going up into turn 2. Trying everything he can, though, to run alongside. But look at the defensive riding there from 25, Glenn Coldenhoff, and look at the amount of track that Roman Febvre is having to use. Ooh, bit tight through there. My mind flashes back to when Charlie-Anne Hurlings crashed there 3 years ago.
Dislocated shoulder.
Yeah. And Febvre goes through. Look at that. So Febvre does move up into 11th position now. He's got Elliot Banks-Brown just ahead of him. Elliot Banks-Brown on the HM Plant KTM, Adam Wheeler. Again, another rider that, you know, providing he stays injury-free, could be a top 10 MX2 contender on a regular basis, don't you think?
I think he's easily a top 10. He's got the speed and, you know, and the fitness to do it. But like you say, Paul, I think this is his first GP since Portugal, it might actually be. So he's just missed races. And, you know, if he's here, he can do it. He can be top 5 easily, I think.
And he always makes good starts. And obviously that's part of the thing, isn't it? You know, it's key to you know, if you can get away with the front runners in the first 10 or 15 minutes and hold your own, and then second half of the race, even if you do start to tire, takes that little bit longer for the guys in the second half of the race to catch you because they're going through the same pain as what you are. So, but he's doing a good job at the moment. He had a good ride back last week at, well, I say a good ride back. It wasn't ideal for him at Hawkstone Park, but it was time on the bike, 3 motos, and obviously here he is now in the Czech Republic in Loket. We just saw a flash there of 34, Joel Roulant, down in 14th position. That's him in that top right-hander, having just found a way past Samuel Zaney, the JTech Yamaha guy.
Just keeping an eye on the top of the timing sheets. Jeffrey Hurlings, of course, leading. Jeremy Horbig's just gone across the line. He's almost 3 seconds back. And Tommy Searle, the gap was 14 seconds on the last lap. To see if he's managed to eat into it at all. 14 it stays.
Yeah.
So it's a big old distance.
2 tenths quicker than Hurlings.
Yeah,
it's a bit like it was yesterday. Didn't get a chance really to speak to Tommy Searle, but I'm guessing it was just he got to, you know, second yesterday and realised actually that Hurlings was just too far away from it.
I mean, I asked him in Russia, I said, you know, is this race here in the Czech Republic going to be important to you? Because you'd think at Massily Basin, a little bit more advantage, a little bit more, you know, that sensation the home GP brings to you. That would be one of his best chances to take back maximum points from Hurlings in the title chase. So if he could take a little bit here and then try and get some more.
Van Horbig's been off. Van Horbig,
yep.
Our onboard camera, double-double.
Or has he stopped?
That bike's gone bang, and he's holding his hand in his helmet. Look, he's absolutely distraught there. The bike's gone bang, so Tommy Searle gets gifted second position, and that gap only being reduced by 3 points. So KTM, just like we saw a couple of weeks ago, Sweden and Latvia might just be scratching their heads thinking, well, if it's gone with one bike, the potential maybe that it could go with a second bike. And wow, big moment. That's the main talking point for this MX2 Race 1 here in Loket. Tommy Searle, though, he won't care about that, but look at that. Van Horbig absolutely distraught. Just came out of the corner and no power.
Yeah.
No power. Not even sure if it's a chain, actually, because that would have had the similar effect, but need to look at that bike closely. But the guys at KTM, Dirk Grubel.
Of course, Paul, we're always talking about Hurlings and Searle, but we're forgetting about Van Horbig, who was catching Searle in 3rd place in the championship standings. I mean, this is going to be, you know, what, a 22-point deficit for him.
Well, that plays nicely into Tommy Searle's hands. 12 points behind Van Horbig was. That would have been back to 10.
Yeah. So no wonder he's so disappointed like that. Never mind losing second position in the GP Moto. He's
potential second in the championship.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's Jeffrey Hurlings then, still almost 15 seconds clear of Tommy Searle. Tommy Searle, I'm guessing, again, you know, 12 minutes to go plus 2. Is he going to keep pushing? Just judging by the lap time, he was, what, 6-7 tenths slower than Hurlings that time around. Still plenty of things can happen. I mean, we did a quick 4-hour 52-minute highlight program that we put out on MX Live TV. We did a catching up thing, which is a regular feature on that program, as Roman Febvre all over the back of Elliot Banks-Brown. And we caught up with Tommy Searle, saying that, you know, after Sweden, it was within 16 points of the championship lead. And Febvre, a good move up the inside. And Elliot Banks-Brown gets pushed back to, 10th place. Roman Febvre makes light work of Elliot Banks-Brown, who carves his way neatly, having worked it probably 2 or 3 corners before to find a way past the Brit. Elliot Banks-Brown there, 44 on the HM Plant KTM UK machine, and I'm sure we'll see a replay of that any moment now. But Roman Febvre, a hard move, an aggressive move, Adam Wheeler at the same time. But safe, but clean. not like, yeah.
No, I mean, this is, what's Boutron capable of here? I mean, Jake Nichols in 3rd place, you know, if I can be patriotic for a moment, with Van Horbig going out, that was one positive for us, you know. Jake Nichols heading for another top 3 moto finish.
Well, heading for one, he's not had one, has he?
He's had one, hasn't he?
No, he was on course. He's been 3 times in the last 5 races.
In Russia, he was going to hold until Tommy came through. Well, it'll be the first of the year, I mean, if he can hold on. And we saw maybe in the, you know, in the EMX2 race, you know, Mel Pocock in a similar position, just like trying to hold his position and hold a little bit of an advantage ahead of Tim Gazja. So, you know, I think Jake should have it here. I'm just having a look at the lap time.
Tommy Searle, a bit too close.
Fence post.
Close. Has he dragged that? Oh, I don't know. Has he
got it?
Has he dragged the fence in? Because that could be crucial.
That's what he was looking at, wasn't it?
Yeah, he took a look back. Let's have a look in the rear wheel.
He's got away with it, I think.
Just pan out just a little bit. Yeah, he has got away with it.
Yeah.
Wow, big moment there for Tommy Searle as well then, because...
that's what we were saying, Paul, on that downhill bit. You've got to be so careful. You're so near the edge of the track. You're carrying so much more speed. It's a real, like, tricky line, dodgy line to take.
Just going back to what we were saying earlier about Tommy Searle being 16 points down after Sweden, he was just saying basically it's been a nightmare from the last couple of races that, you know, he'd got the gap down from 40 points where it was in Brazil to 16, and then obviously he had those problems which were no fault of his own. And, you know, just got to keep his head up and be upbeat and, you know, just get on with it. Didn't think he was doing anything wrong before that, so in that respect, he's going to carry on doing what he's been doing. Just get his head down and race and go for wins. That's all he can do. So for the remainder of the season, and hope that, as we have seen, you know, you can have bad luck. It's not nice when it happens, but
Van Horbig's the case. You know?
Yeah, Van Horbig's the case, Cairoli the case, and Tommy as well. Both those guys losing potential 50 points in one race, and which he said, you know, would never have thought that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I interviewed Tommy yesterday for Van Horbig coming back to the pits, but for, you know, On Track Off-Road's first podcast, Tommy, we chatted about that, and it's made a comment that's typical of his luck, you know, in the GP where he doesn't pick up any points at all. The one motor that, you know, Hurlings breaks down is in that same race, so it's, you know, it's one of those little things where you think it's not going to be your season. And like, just looking here, Paul, of Nichols, he responded to that little bit of a threat. He must have had a bad lap on the last one because he was a second slower than Boutron, but now he's picked it up and, well, he's half a second faster, so I think you can see that.
Well, we'll see now because they come over the line again, and obviously Jake Nichols has been close to getting a moto podium, takes a nervous look over his shoulder with 8+2 to go, and the gap, well, look at that, half a second quicker again, Boutron, so...
How's your Flemish? How's your Flemish?
Yeah.
You have to hear it and then translate it.
But Jake Nichols, I'm just wondering whether he's getting a little bit of nervous tension creeping in here. Obviously up there in third position on a circuit that's hard and slick. It's doesn't do well for the arm pump situation. And Boutron, it's always easier to follow, and he's got Jake Nichols firmly in his sights, and it's down to Nichols now to have to defend the line. He's also got Zach Osborne closing in 5th place. So this one's going to be a three-way battle for that third and final podium position. Jake Nichols there, 45, then the Star Gem Racing KTM right at the back end comes out on him, and definitely got a battle on Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, it's that case, Paul, isn't it, where the rider behind can have a little bit of look at the lines where, you know, the guy in front of him and try something different, and it's Boutron's trying different things and it's working.
What about Zach Osborne? Obviously, Sweden was good, his comeback ride in round 9. Last couple of races haven't been great for him, but having a good moto now at the moment, down there in 5th.
We've seen Jose Boutron make huge progress this year. He's took another whole shot, and we now see him battling out for that top 3. Are you really happy with his performance today?
Yeah, we hope so. He's in good shape. He's training really hard. We are on one of the few dry races from the season, so normally it's a kind of track for him. Hopefully he will go on the podium today.
Thank you.
To see the MX1 guys going in the opposite direction as they get ready there for their first race, looking back at that approach into that right-hander just before they drop down toward the finish area, just checking out how big those bumps are, because we've seen riders in the past, haven't we, go down that right. Anstey on Lupino. So that is for 7th place. That was down the bottom end of the circuit in the same corner where Van Horbig and Nichols almost went down in the early part of the moto. Right, Tommy Searle, second, 20 seconds down on Jeffrey Hurlings, so I'm guessing he's just going to cruise it home from here. There's no point pushing on, but what we do know is Jeffrey Hurlings still able to push and manage that pain, so there's definitely going to be no problems for him in the second moto, barring a dig in the ribs or going down on that side or whatever. But
yeah, after this this half-time moment of this GP, Paul, I mean, Hurlings is going to have a GP lead over Tommy, 49 points, stretching up to 52.
Yeah.
You know, the real interest here is in this battle for 3rd place, and Jake's doing a good job of, you know, not letting Boutron even show a wheel at the moment, and Zach, you know, he's got the 2 targets ahead of him. You were talking about Zach Osborne earlier on. I mean, he had that crash in Latvia in the rain and, you know, hit his head a little bit, and then in Russia he had like a muscle spasm in his back, so he's had little problems that's kind of, you know, affected him from really showing his true speed, and he's only got like another 4 GPs to go before he heads back to the US. So it'd be good to see, you know, the Zach Osborne that won in Turkey and, you know, did so well in 2010 come through.
It's interesting what a difference a lap can make as well, because a lap ago, Boutron was all over the rear wheel of the Nissan GM Racing KTM of Jake Nichols, challenging for third place, and suddenly he realised the danger from Zach Osborne, the 338 on the Monster Energy Yamaha just behind him, and he's now having to ride defensive as the number 17 Spaniard, as Zach Osborne looking to use different lines, trying to get traction out of that rear wheel. But look how big those, well, they don't look that big from here, but you see riders go through them. You look at the reaction from their bike as they do go through. It's a pretty brutal circuit here, always has been. And that uphill section coming out of turn 2 onto that plateau. Remember Billy McKenzie and Argyle going down there in previous years. You know, it's not a kind place. And
it's the old cliche, isn't it, Paul? I mean, the track, you can't really get an appreciation of just how rough and slippery it is, just those little rocks all the way through the train. Oops, was Dutch goggles there. You know, it's like you say, it's tough to handle. It really is tough. And those big downhill step downs, it's fast, it's vertical, it's just it's spectacular.
Three and a half minutes plus 2 to go. Joel Roulance easily carves his way up the inside of Jordi Tixier and takes 10th place away from the former 125 European champion. And Joel Roulance has really had to work hard for that, hasn't he? He was buried way down. He was 26 on the first lap when he came round, probably even further back than that. So just indication as to how hard he's had to work. Joel Roulance, who will have to go MX1 next year, along with Jeremy Van Horbeek and Tommy Searle, which leaves this MX2 class, I won't say wide open because Jeffrey Hurlings is still going to be in there, but leaves it open for other podium contenders. Zach Osborne also not going to be here, going to be in the States next year because didn't want to go MX1, wants to stay on a 250. And yeah, so we won't see Zach Osborne. So he's going to want to put a good effort in, isn't he, the last few races, Zach Osborne. Adam Wheeler.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking a little bit about Hurlings being up front, Paul. I mean, you don't want to be dismissive of the rest of the MX2 field because even as Hurlings himself says, there's 1 or 2 surprises every year, but it could be, you know, a pretty tough challenge for second position in MX2 next year. You've got a number of riders, and this will do Jake's confidence a world of good. I really expect him to be getting these positions on a regular basis next season, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and Jackie Martins is going to be rubbing his hands here because this is what he's pretty much signing for. Let's, you know, maybe get top 5s because we know you're capable of that, and maybe towards the end of the year start looking at podiums. And you know, if that was what the game plan was at the start of the season, then it's starting to ring true now. You know, he's been challenging for that 3rd place, just been running out of time in the closing stages, but hey, he's doing a great job here. He's 7 seconds down on Tommy Searle. He's 2 seconds clear of this battle here for 4th place.
And so, yeah, as well, just coming on the back of Osborne. So Zach was in a position to overtake Boutron a moment ago, but now he's also going to have to defend.
Yeah, the 37 there, the Bud Rockstar Racing Kawasaki rider. It was interesting. I was talking to Minola from the team in Russia, and the idea was for Tellier that after his injuries from Portugal, that he was in Russia really just to get some riding time again with a view to maybe have a decent ride here, and he's certainly doing that. He's been fast all weekend long. He's been there and thereabouts, and here he is knocking on the back doors of Boutron and Osborne in that battle for 4th and 5th position. So we could still yet see Valentin Tellier maybe take 1, maybe even 2 positions in the closing stage of this race.
If memory serves me correctly, I think it's his favourite track. So, you know, it's... like
oh, he goes down! In the background, he just lost the front end. That's the last time you're coming in here, Adam Wheeler.
My apologies to the Bud Racing team in advance.
Oh, but that's the nature of this ground. It's very easy off campers, even that tabletop. There's a reason why riders don't jump it on a regular basis. It's because when you get on the downside, the ground falls away from right to left, and it's been hard, it's slick, it's watered. Probably just caught a slick patch there, a damp patch, and just lost the front end, and that was it. It's falling down. So, yeah, tough break there for Valentin Tellier, who was on course for taking possibly 4th or 5th position, certainly in 6th place, as Osborne looks to take a position from the number 17 of Jose Boutron. Right, we've got 3 laps to go. Hurlings 22 seconds clear of Tommy Searle. Then in 3rd place, we've got Jake Nichols, only a couple seconds ahead of this battle for 4th place. And then we've got Boutron, Osborne, Max Anstey now in 6th, so he's had a good fight through the field. Ahead of Alessandro Lupino's Ricci Racing Husqvarna. Valentin Tellier drops down to 8th. Roman Febvre 9th, Joel Roulance in 10th, ahead of Jordi Tixier, Elliot Banks-Brown in 12th. And they're the riders that are over the line at the moment. Oh, Banks-Brown, we're still waiting for him to come through, but behind them, Coldenhoff, Zany, Ferrandis down in 15th. I thought Ferrandis would have had a a better ride around here. I thought this would have been his this kind of surface.
Yeah, I mean, there are similarities to Sweden a little bit. I mean, Sweden's a little bit more, you enter a soft section and you enter a hard section, but it's still pretty slick. Very much like Loket. I think Zach's, it's just a matter of time here before he passes Butron. Just position. Yeah, it'd be a pretty good finish for Osborne. This is one of the first GPs he rode back in 2008. Yeah, when he first came out. I think the first one was in Lommel, but then they came here and he made good lap times and earned himself a deal.
This is where Tellier crashed. Really working it hard, Zach Osborne.
That's where he crashed. Yeah, yesterday on that corner there, Zach crashed.
He did, yeah, in a heat race.
Yeah.
So Jake Nichols, we see him going away. Look at that. Good recovery from Jake Nichols. He sustained the pressure. Osborne's going to... Oh, look at that. Didn't even react. Jose Butron, he's spent. He's had enough of hanging on to that 4th position. And Zach Osborne easily goes through with 2 laps. So Jake Nichols then, who was 3 seconds clear at the start of that previous lap, lap 18. We've just got 19 laps complete now. What's the gap between Nichols and...
4 seconds.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
What was this?
Nichols
just a bit of action replay there. Of that's the hill down the bottom there. Pretty scary stuff if you stand on top of it. He's got a flat tyre.
No, Spark. Yeah, look. That's either a Moose working overtime, potentially, or there's definitely sparks coming out from that left side that looked like there. So, man, that'll be a tough blow as well for Nichols if something happens there in the closing stage of this race. So, obviously, our camera guy saw something that in real time that we didn't. But Tommy Searle, though, in 2nd place on that Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. He's looking good in 2nd position. A good recovery from him. 21st on lap 1, in a position to still win the overall Grand Prix and at least get that gap back to 49 points, 51, 52 points at the moment it is, with Hurlings leading this race. Jake Nichols, though, 4 seconds clear of Zach Osborne.
I'm going to let you talk about Jake Paul because I spoke about Tellier and he crashed. So if I make any kind of comment then I'm afraid we're going to see number 45 just roll up with a flat rear tyre.
Well, I'm just going to comment on this battle here. I don't want to curse him.
Was that golden tyre that team used?
You know what?
Is it Pirelli's or?
Yeah, I'm not overly sure. I think it might be golden tyre actually, with the Starm guys, but
not many teams running golden tyres.
No, but not been around a long time either, have they? They've taken World Championship victories in Supermoto, and they're currently leading the 125 European Championship with Tim Geiser, who had a great ride here today, got on the podium 2nd overall behind Mel Pocock, but yet to win a major title, and obviously chasing the first one with Tim Geiser in 125 European. But we're on the final lap. Jeffrey Hurlings, the other side of pit lane, in the off-cambered part of the circuit. Hard and slick, still got to maintain his concentration despite being almost 27 seconds clear of Tommy Searle, but certainly showing no signs of the rib damage sustained in that car crash hours after winning the Russian Grand Prix 2 weekends ago. Jake Nichols still 5 seconds clear of Osborne, so he's weathered that storm and still out there in 3rd, so looking good. But Tommy Searle and Jake Nichols only 3 seconds apart, so Tommy Searle can't exactly relax either, but sure he'll keep an eye on what's going on behind him as Jeffrey Hurlings pops back into view over the from one side of the circuit to the other, and he's got a handful of corners to go in which he will pick up his 13th race victory of the season.
Ooh. It's getting a bit out of shape. That's just Hurlings, really, isn't it?
But he has answered all the, all the doubters here. You know, what will he do? Will he ride conservatively? You know, will he take top 5 positions? All that kind of thing, because he's got the points gap, but showing that he's an out-and-out racer.
Well, he said he thinks about that, like the car accident every day, you know, but he's 100% focused for this race, and I think this is a big win after what he's been through.
So Jeffrey Hurlings comes out of the final turn, drops down the hill, and the Red Bull KTM factory rider takes the Monster Energy finish line and victory in Moto number 1 here in Loket. And that is a big win for him. Tommy Searle, a couple of corners away from him, just heading along the plateau into turn 2. He's going to probably pick up 2nd position. We say that because the gap between him and Jake Nichols, well, there it is. So I'm just wondering whether Tommy Searle's got a problem or if he's just backed it off quite a lot. I'm wondering whether he actually lost a back brake in the collision down there.
Could, you know, when he was hitting those fence posts. And Jake Nichols, absolutely nothing wrong with that golden tyre, so a well-earned third position.
Yeah, well, Tommy Searle then second, and well, there is some of the after effects of that car crash. But Jake Nichols, what can we say about him? The Nissan JM Racing KTM rider takes his first ever third place finish, a rostrum finish in an MX2 World Championship race, and that's 2 Brits on the podium as well in a period of time, certainly in British sporting history, where we're gripped by Olympic fever with all those gold medals that we've got and everything else, and these 2 guys certainly adding to that as well. But Tommy Searle not looking happy. Assume maybe something after the collision with all those posts, but can't take anything away from Jake Nichols. A superb ride, third, and its first ever podium result. And Father Guy here to witness it as well. In fact, the whole family apart from the sister. So good work for him, good ride for Hurlings as well. The race winner. So Jeffrey Hurlings wins moto number 1, Tommy Searle second. There is Jake Nichols. Jackie Martins gives him a hug. There's Guy in the background, gives him a big old hug. It's been a long journey, but it's been a worthwhile one. Thanks to Adam Wheeler for joining me here in the commentary booth for MX2 Race 1, and obviously witnessing a great moment of history in the career of Jake Nichols, taking his first ever podium finish. But in a moment we'll give you the full rundown and fill you in on what happened with our highlight of Race 1 here in MX2. But for now, it's the unofficial result is going to be Hurlings from Searle, from Jake Nichols, Zach Osborne, and Max Anstey got to 5th in the end, finding a way past Jose Boutron. So Boutron just ran out of steam in the closing stages of the moto. Lupino on the Ritchie Racing Husqvarna got up to 8th, or up to 7th. Roman Fevre was 8th. Valentin Tellier was 9th in the end, ahead of Joel Roulance. And of course, here is the official confirmation. Hurlings from Searle and Nichols. Look at that, Brits 2nd and 3rd. Osborne 4th, Anstey 3 Brits in the top 5. Wow, what a great result. Then it's Boutron, Lupino and Roman Fevre. Valentin Tellier and Joel Roulance. A hard ride through the field for him. And it was Jordi Tixier, Elliot Banks-Brown, Glenn Coldenhoff, Dylan Ferrandis, Samuel Zaney, Valentin Guillot, Andrea Chervelin, Jens Getterman on the standing construct Suzuki, Prit Ratsep on the Deagle Racing KTM, and Kevin Fors, the last rider to pick up points on the Kimiya Raytech Yamaha Racing. And in fact, I'm going to be talking to his team manager, Marnik Bavort. He's going to be one of our live studio guests on MX Live TV, along with Max Nagel, Christophe Pourcel, and Alessandro Lupino. But in a moment we'll see the championship standings now as a result of Hurlings winning that first race from Tommy Searle. That gap goes out to 52 points. But for those of you, while we were on the break a moment ago, it was Hurlings, Searle, Nichols, Osborne, Anstey, Boutron, Lupino, Fevre, Tellier and Roulance, your top 10. Elliot Banks-Brown came home in 12th, head of Coldenhoff. Dylan Ferrandis was 14th, with Samuel Zaney, Valentin Guillot, Andrea Chervelin just behind them. But championship points, though, Hurlings takes 3 more out of Tommy Searle, who in turn takes 22 out of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Van Hoorbeek going out with just a handful of laps to go, with some kind of technical failure on that Red Bull KTM. And you can see the disappointment in his face almost immediately. And it was a long walk back from there to, well, certainly an uphill walk to get back to pit lane. So Jeremy Van Hoorbeek records his 2nd DNF of the season. Jeffrey Hurlings' 13th race win of 2012 and is on course for taking a 14th career Grand Prix victory in MX2. Here's our race winner. Here's Jeffrey Hurlings.
Jeffrey, well done. You looked as though you're having fun out there. How are you feeling after that first race?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. You know, the start wasn't that great, but I came from about 5th, 6th somewhere, and I closed the gap, and then
past Jared, my teammate, and then you know, pretty much checked out. You know, running was really good, better than I ever could expect it. You know, when I look 10 days back, I didn't even expect to race this weekend, so I'm really pumped for that. And never could do without Rebel KTM racing team. You know, they've been putting so much hard work in, and hope to do the same the second moto. Hope to have a whole shot this time, and hope to win and take another overall win.
Well done. We'll see you for that second race.
So good ride then for Jeffrey Hurlings. Pretty much said it all really after what happened a couple of weeks ago, but the big blaster on the front of his head, that was the collision with the back seat, with his iPhone getting squashed in between, and his iPhone all twisted and busted as well. Caused a big gash in the top of that forehead, but no signs of the concussion, no signs of the rib damage, and Jeffrey Hurlings on course here as he picks up another 25 points in the first race at this Czech Republic Grand Prix in Loket, and extends his championship lead as well to 52 over Tommy Searle, who finished second in race number 1 on the Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Here he is with Amy.
Tommy, well done for taking second. What happened at the beginning there? Did you get caught back at the start of the race?
Yeah, I got a good jump and then something happened. I didn't get my gear change right, and then I was just a little bit hesitant in that first turn because it's off camber and a lot of crashes, but then I think Osborne came in so hard and just hit me, and then I hit everyone and come out last. So I pushed hard the first few laps and I come through really quick, but then I tightened up a little bit after I got through the third, but I was really happy with how I was riding at the beginning. And but just congratulations to Jake Nichols, another English guy up on the podium, so it's his first one, so big congrats to him, and hopefully I can go out and win the second one and get the overall.
Well done, Tommy.
And we should be hearing from Jake Nichols any moment now. But Tommy Searle, yeah, just as we saw that slow-mo replay of him getting out of the start line, it looked like he had problems shifting there into gear, and just confirming it there for us. But by then, of course, he was already too far deep in the pack, and that's where you get caught out going through that first turn. Osborne ran it up the inside of him. He ricocheted into Hurlings, into Tixier, into Dylan Ferrandis, and came out almost right at the back of the field. So good recovery for Tommy Searle. Okay, he was helped by the fact that Jeremy Van Hoorbeek also went out. But here's Jake Nichols, his first ever overall finish.
Jake, well done. We knew that top 3 was finally coming. How does it feel now you've got that underneath your belt?
It feels unbelievable, you know. It's my 5th year in this class now, and I've been working so hard. And when I first started out, I thought, will I ever reach it? And just kept pushing and pushing, and it's come with so much hard work. You know, it really hasn't come easy, and even that race, it was a fight all the way to the end, and I'm so pleased, and I've got so many people to thank. First of all, Nestan, JM Racing, KTM, Red Bull, and my family, everyone. I just can't thank them enough. You know, I feel it's the start of things to come, and hopefully I can maintain it now.
Well done, Jay. We hope to see you back up here for the second race.
A great ride, a little bit emotional there actually as he got his thank yous out, but it has, and it's a lesson to all you kids out there. Hard work is what's needed to get on an FIM Motocross World Championship podium. Jake Nichols takes his first ever in MX2. So Jake Nichols then, maybe now the pressure is off. He's come so close on a number of occasions this year to that. He was 4th in the first race in Fermo in Italy, round 3, and he had 3 4th-place finishes in the last 6 motos in Uddevalla, Kegums, and Semiguri. Finally here in Loket, he takes his first ever race podium in 3rd. Here's what happened in MX2, race 1. The gate drop, Lupino, Elliot Banks-Brown, Zach Osborne all at the inside. Neither of them getting a good jump. Tommy Searle struggled for gear change alongside his teammate Joel Roulance, but then he got caught going through turn 1 and had to fight his way from outside the top 20. Nichols was in 3rd, but then Van Hoorbeek squeezed into that 3rd position, almost taking them both out when that rear wheel stepped out. But meanwhile, Tommy Searle found himself well up inside the top 10 as he went by Zach Osborne in the closing stage of the race. Next man on his sights was the number 17 of Jose Boutron. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, about 10-15 seconds clear of the rest of the field, Jeffrey Hurlings finding a way through on Jeremy Van Hoorbeek. Roulance went through on Jordi Tixier, eventually coming home in 10th place on the Fluid Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, but up front and relatively unchallenged, more than 20 seconds clear by the time the flag fell, Jeffrey Hurlings took his 13th moto victory of the season in 2012 and extended his lead at the top of the championship table over Tommy Searle, and it was Jake Nichols in third.